So I'm here with Renato and Martin at the intensive BJJ camp in Klagenfurt. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And Renato, how it came did you have so many people with you in Europe? How did you originally from Brazil? How did you come here? What is your history?
I first time I came in 2005, I believe, in Europe. Actually started back in 2003 when I first went to United States. I stayed in the United States and I loved there, living from Brazil. I went to compete at Pan American and from there I trained at the Hands School. I had opportunity to teach at Ralph Gracie School. So, but then I eventually had to go back to Brazil to renew my visa, and when I went back, there was no, they didn't give me a visa, so I find out that didn't need visas to Europe, and then I came. I think this is pretty common. Many of the guys now coming to the Europeans, but that was 2005, and now with 2017, 12 years ago, it's still the same thing. You see some guys coming from Brazil, and they come to the Europeans and try to do some seminars, but that's all they did. They tried. They should come and try to do some seminars, and make some money, put it in the pocket, go back home and train. I'm not gonna say I didn't do that, but I always had an idea that this could grow, and still to this day, 12 years later, can grow. There are plenty of space to grow, not only here but in America too. And sometimes just people don't have that vision. I think I just had the vision, and I remember back then I was just emails and I started email every martial art school. A couple guys responded. I went to some schools. Some schools I like it to have a relationship, some I don't, because it wasn't the way I actually conduct business or martial arts per se. Back then I not even knew much stuff about business and that's how I made my living. And I came here and with met I was a guy first one of Michael Hokenius. At the same time I met the guys in Doncaster, New Orleans. Another one, Abby. He's in London, close to London, Milton Keynes. He helped me out too. I met him at the when I came to compete the European. Back then we could do this. Nowadays we cannot do it anymore. But back then I showed up and I talked to the guy from the IBJJF and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna register. I just don't have the money. Can you put my name?" And I went outside and sold T-shirts, outside of the European, where the European, tournament is, and made the money. I went back and paid him, but I was already my name in the brackets and everything. And there, outside, trying to sell shirts and stuff, I got to meet some people, and I even visit their schools, and I have a relationship. Abby is one I have a relationship since then. Abby introduced me to the guys in Doncaster, the two Neils.
We love to start with the same story about how you tried to get into the tournament in New Jersey or where it was.
Yeah, I mean, I was just try to be, again, just trying to make a living, not without stepping in anyone. And, I appreciate when people come to my school too. Now that I'm in a different position, they come and they say, "Hey, I don't have how to pay. Let me exchange somehow. I give some services to the school." Unfortunately, it seems like it's a generation that they talk but they don't do. Back then, a lot, your word must worth something. And that's it from Michael and the guys in Doncaster. I started meeting other people, and I continue sending my emails, and other people, and they were all white belts back then. Just a few were like blue belts. I got the guys in Belgium too that I met throughout emails and went there. Now they're all black belts. Back then they were like, "Oh, but how come?" Because we were talking to some guys here too that they need help, in Austria that is nobody around them, and I say, hey, just start a group and start teaching. Oh, but I'm not legit to teach. Well, but do the best you can, and people will come around and try to help you out. You have so much people, and as the time goes by, you get like a blue belt, and then it goes by, you got a purple belt, and might take 15 years, but you got to start somehow, right? So if you take 20 years, doesn't matter. But the next generation will be faster because now they have a black belt around, So, and they trust that. So they're all black belts now, and they're producing some guys who are even going, which I don't care much, but, just so to have a way of measurement, they're producing guys that are competing in the IBJJF and, in the Europeans and winning, and it's not all of them, but they have guys. So that means they're legit. They're doing their stuff, and that's it. And then Martin came throughout them, and Martin was actually, when he came, in a very good time in that I was learning a lot of business or how to teach class, how to manage a school, because sometimes just the love of jiu-jitsu, you don't know how to manage a school, you don't know how to teach a proper class. It's a lot of things, tedious things involved that people don't have a clue. They think they know, but they don't have a clue. And then all the Brazilian jiu-jitsu schools around is like 20, 30, 50 people only, good ones 100, and then they stay that way. So, but if they learn more business, learn more, how to conduct a class, more and more jiu-jitsu school will survive, because many people you see closing the schools, So it's better for jiu-jitsu. You see many martial arts like judo, unfortunately, in America. Here in Europe is a little different because it's subsidized by the government, and But in America, they close because people don't have a clue on how to, keep the doors open. So, yeah. And then when Martin came, he at my school, he, learning. As I was learning all the steps, he was learning at the same time because, he was the guy who was helping me out there. I didn't have anyone to help out.
It was a great time there, 2011, 2012. I think it was me and Renato teaching all the classes. It was in the week, about 30 classes per week we were teaching, with kids, adults, fitness, and jiu-jitsu classes and fitness classes too. And yeah, then Renato, he had to go to another country. I was teaching there, running the kids classes by myself.
To where?
So I think some seminars to Brazil. He went to try to get in the Ultimate Fighter, right?
That was the Ultimate Fighter. They had a trial. They called me to go do the trial. So, and then I went there. It was like about 2 weeks. I didn't pass in the interview. I passed the trials, but not the interview. It was funny. But and then.
So you were close to fight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or?
No, the house. We went to the house, and the thing there. So it's kind of, if you want to know a little bit about this, it's kind of they watch you grapple for 30 seconds. And I grappled. I was a super good guy. He was heavier than me, but I did escape that my professor used to do, and then I got into a guillotine, and that was enough. And I didn't make the guy tap. Was okay, time, and then they get 30 seconds. I swear to God, and then they got somebody to hold pads. I was warming up. Okay, time. Oh my God, I go, oh, time. I know I wasn't really doing the thing, and then they say the names who stayed, and then I stayed, but and then they go to the interview, and those reality shows, they like people with drama, I'm super duper poor. I saw stuff like this, and I'm here to break people's nose and make my living, and I wasn't the richest, okay, but I still had more, in a sense, more privileges. Money was tight as I grew up, but I could go to school. I could, not like people in Brazil who didn't have food on table. Yeah, and then with these guys again. Once in Europe a year, the great people truly. It's not. I used to say I was lucky that I met a lot of good people. I met a lot of good people, and I did met a lot of bad people too. I just didn't realize they were bad. I just didn't continue the relationships. I had just a, I kind of sensed it. Luck in a way too.
What is actually where did you start with Jiu-Jitsu? Was it actually your lineage, how they call it in Jiu-Jitsu?
Okay, it's hard to not talk too much. Oh my God, they make hard questions.
Especially for you.
Yeah. So, well, I started young, 8 years old, in a town, in Brazil, for judo, right? And back then, was not much jiu-jitsu around. I started training, and my goal was to be Olympic champion, in judo. Tried, and then when I was about 16, I moved out of that town to go to a training center with judo guys to focus to be in the Olympics. And by the way, from that group, many people end up going to Olympics. Then they were very good in the ground. My ground game, judo-wise, built exponential. I went back, and then I heard of jiu-jitsu when I was there. But I stayed there for a year or something. I went back to my town for one more year, and I realized that I made a poor decision going back to my home. We were young, we kind of miss home, and we went back. So I stayed in 1 year. Once the mind expands, you can't go back anymore. So mind expanded, I'm in a little town, I can't be here anymore. So, in the third year, I went back to the town. When I went back to the town to train judo, I had the experience. No, actually, I'm sorry. As I was in that town, I met Gordo, Professor Gordo. He is one of the first guys from the Gracie bar. And I trained with him for 2 weeks, at his place that he was teaching in this town. And I told him, I'm going to São Paulo. São Paulo is a big city because, I want to pursue a career, try to get to the Olympics. I made the wrong decision once. I want to try now. He goes, okay, if you want to train jiu-jitsu, this is a card, right? So as I'm going, it's Ryan Gracie, but I don't know who are the Gracies. I didn't know anyone. So I got there, and later on I understood who Ryan Gracie was, and I trained with him, got all my belts through him, and then unfortunately he passed. I was already in the United States when he passed, and I trained a couple times with his brother Hanzo at the Hanzo school, and not for too long, but I did in a half. A little less than half too, but trained with them, and once they passed, I always had a relationship with Gordo because Gordo is also the same group. They're all friends from childhood. I have pictures of them, kids hugging each other, and I always had an immense respect for Gordo, and now I'm kind of more attached to Gordo. Gordo was the guy who gave me my 4th degree, and but pretty much is this Maeda, right? Kano, the judo guy, Maeda, and then Carlos Gracie Jr., okay, Ryan Gracie and Gordo, right, and myself. Yeah, and this guy's coming up now to beat me up. Yeah.
Just summing it up, you said many gyms have problems, sales-wise, marketing, business-wise, and you learned yourself, you both, the hard way. And now you have this course here, like for people who have their own gym running and stuff.
Yes, we came up with this idea because I'm really into build jiu-jitsu, and if you don't do it seriously it's not gonna be built. It's gotta have some sort of management, some stuff around, right? You can't. All right, so everything started with the product. So the problem with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys is they think Jiu-Jitsu is so good, which it is. I'm not gonna say it's not, but and then they teach a poor class. You know, they sit on their phones and show one technique and then put the people to roll. And then come a guy who is completely uncoordinated, never did, and he heard from a friend in another country who told him jiu-jitsu is good for you. Okay, he tries and he goes there and he gets beat up.
I think the problem is if you have to convince people, okay, but we try to convince the people teaching them technique, but technique is not enough, okay. One day they get the black belt, but they don't have any clue how to do business, because we are black belts in jiu-jitsu, we are black belts for techniques, but we're not black belts in business, and that's what nobody is doing. Nobody's doing instructor course, nobody's doing some business course to help you how to build up your school. That's what we try to do now.
Yeah, we and then that's so much I have my coaches in business to this day. You know, it's not like I know everything. No, it's just, and they also keep me account. You know, and but the thing is, I think we started with the instructor course on first and foremost how to teach a class. You know, how to. We finished today the instructor course with the word care. You have to care about your students. If you don't care, you know, if you're just there to make some money, you know, things not gonna go forward, you know. So, yeah.
I think it's like, you can say like this: if you have gold in your hand, but nobody knows that it's gold in your hand, nobody is going to come to take it from you. So first of all, you have to convince people that what you do is good for them. But it can help their life. It can help not only in technique, but their lives too, to improve their condition, everything. Yeah. And that's what we try to do. It's teaching good classes, not only credit to technique, but also for lifestyle and for the life.
When we say convince, it's convince in class. It's not like, you know. So really, people understand. Oh yes, I can do this. Oh, this guy took care of me. Now my body was weak. Now I can take the damage that jiu-jitsu can do, and you know, because you can do, maybe you know a lot of marketing, and you bring a lot of people to your school, and then and you lose them all because you don't teach a good class. You know, you don't know anything about it. You hurt all the people that come. You know, you just focus on the most athletic ones because you like people winning competitions and bring your name up, and I think that's not the.
And if jiu-jitsu is for everybody, we have to do classes not only for competitors. Not only the strong guys can survive, right? Everybody has to improve. Everybody has to become better from where they started. And in the beginning it was like this: if you survive, you're a good guy. Of course, the old school mentality was like this: the good guy survived, the other one go home. We don't care about them. But this cannot be correlated to business, correlated to a lifestyle. This cannot be the goal.
Or the philosophy, you know? Yeah. We're talking about the philosophy of the sport and what we are trying to do. You know, in this camp here, some people showed up that never did jiu-jitsu, you know, and I think, oh my God, you know, they got guts. But in a sense, we all take care of them, you know. They learn the stuff, they all happy. Ask them how much they liked it, and yeah.
We have now the 5th BJJ intensive camp here in Austria, but we started with the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and now it's the 5th one. And we are still growing. We are not there what we want. We want to improve also as a organizer of the camps. But now the instructor course is a first very big step for us, and I think it's also good for everybody.
It was super surprising for us, yeah.
We had the idea of the camps already when I left, because we said Renato has a lot of students in Europe and it would be nice to bring them all together. So I decided, let's do the camps. And the first camp he wasn't there.
Yes.
We said, okay, let's do the camps.
No, but you know why? Because we say, yes, we're gonna do, but I always procrastinated. And then he took the first step. We're gonna do it anyways, even if nobody comes.
No, we did the first camp in Klagenfurt. I did together with Mario. He's teaching now in Vienna, and I think 30 people were in the first camp. Okay, and then we said, now we started, now we do the second one. And then was already a big camp in Klagenfurt, the Halloween camp. Yes. Was our second camp. Then we did one in California, and last year one in Italy, and this is now the 5th one.
Yes. Did they start as open camps for everybody?
this is always the idea, okay, to bring together all students of Renato.
But yeah,
His black
we
belt,
started
but
of my students, the guys, it's open. But we started there because I always wanted all my black belts to know each other. Oh, I have a guy in Belgium. Oh, nobody knows. The guys in England, now they know each other. They talk, because I'm in America, I'm far, it's easy, can, see each other. Pete was my student in Connecticut, and now he's in Sheffield. And Sheffield is like a very close by Doncaster, which I already have 2 black belts there. Now he's training there. So, to me, it's great. That's what we always dream. And he made the first step. He said, I'm going to do this anyways. I felt bad. And then in the second one, I said, okay, I'm going. So now this become like not yet, but it's becoming like a second business. So I have to also learn how to give my time to this, which was a challenge. Now it's not much, but at the beginning was super challenge because I have to let go some stuff in my school. Then other people will have to do what I was doing, So but we grow. That's it.
What are the next steps? Which camps are planned? What do you want to do with the camps?
We want to have more camps throughout the year. As of now, we did a good strategy. We do the camps where we have more influence, which is the German-speaking countries per se, because they're being more here, and then they're close by, they'll come. But we want to offer, even I told him we could even go to Azerbaijan. Yes, it's a country full of people that they. How you say, they're hungry for jiu-jitsu, and there are just not much people there. It's not just the business that make them the money. It's also provided for people. And I'm sure the jiu-jitsu we are doing is different. I'm not going to say different than everyone, but not the jiu-jitsu, the techniques, but the way we see. We try to put some philosophy behind, some martial arts behind, some respect behind, not just
help is the business doing instructor course. I think that's always the problem when you only get the black belt. Like I said, you have no clue about business, and that's what we try to fill this gap. Okay, so that's what we're planning now, to do a big camp in Italy in May 2018. Next one May, then one in America again, in LA, Big Bear again, and now we are already planning to do perhaps some other camps in some other parts of Europe.
Many dreams. We want to Vegas. We want to do in Vegas. We want to do England, Spain, Germany. So we just, of course, to be cost effective, or because that is always a stretch to come from America to. We will do in places that people would raise their hand and say, we will start first at those places. People raise their hand, I'll do it in my place, because we can get some people, and that are a necessity. Because we're not gonna hit and miss.
We're still learning. So every camp we do some feedbacks. We sit together. We see what we can improve. We're never happy. So after this camp, we already have 5 or 6 points we want to improve for next camp. So step by step, we try not to go too fast, but to make a good step after another. So this time we had the first women class only for women. We never had before. We had more self-defense classes, and always trying to improve.
We had the self-defense class. We never had the self-defense classes. We had this time we didn't have any Muay Thai, but sometimes we put some. It's because also it's part of our philosophy. Jiu-jitsu guy needs to know how to throw a punch, and throw a kick. He needs to, it's not like he never did.
If you had 15 years in martial arts and you have a black belt and you cannot throw a straight punch or a kick, I think you missed something.
Yeah.
Even if you're only a grappler. Yeah.
Take down. You need to know take down. Come on, you do jiu-jitsu. You don't know take down. You don't know. You have to. Have to be exposed to this. Somebody comes to attack you with a knife or a weapon or a gun. You have to know at least what's the base, at least. And I'm saying that, go for it and try to disarm the guy. No, but at least something so you can survive, That's lacking lately, But we still like the competition. We still like this stuff. And it's not like we're not going to do it anymore. But, to be complete, we just can say, okay, no, it's not valid anymore in the competition. It's illegal. We stop doing.
I think it's also important that we take a lot of care about the people, and we want to have a good culture and atmosphere here in the camps. So nobody here is going too hard on everybody. We train hard, we spar hard with each other, but nobody's going crazy. And that's what we like. And what I always like to say is, if one day the people get a black belts, perhaps they get the black belts from one of our guys or from us, and they are not good people, they're assholes, then we did something wrong on the way there. Yeah. So a black belt without a good attitude, without good character is a waste of time.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. So I think this is what maybe what's make the difference. You know, people coming here, they're treated well. Nobody's arrogant. You know, they can roll with the black belts here. Black belts are not here to, you know, show off or teach a class and get paid and leave. You know, because it's common. You want to make the money. I don't blame. You know, some people need to make a living, but sometimes it's evident that you want to get your money and bounce. You know, not people are here. You know, some people want to be here. Even they don't even want to get paid. No, I want to be here.
I definitely want to be here. I really appreciate it, especially the mix, wrestling, judo, self-defense. I think it's great to see these days, to have a camp like this.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the interview.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.